It is with a heavy heart that I welcome you here today to the funeral of Orcust Harp Horror. As the Orcust who knew him best, I will play him one final send-off. A somber mood and your respect, please.
Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka MBT, back again with another episode of 10-Minute Testing. Well, last time we took a look at Salamangreat, and part of the thrill of living in Hellworld is a knowledge that no matter what we do, nothing will ever get better. So I figure we better take a look at the last format's top deck, Orcust. So here's the list, and with the exception of the scrap inclusion, it's the same as it ever was. As always, I'll give you a background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and of course, the card by card. But first, this video is sponsored by Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck. Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck is your one-stop shop for deck building, deck uploading, card searching, and strategy articles, some of which are written by yours truly. I'm proud to represent them, and I encourage any player interested in deck building to check out their website at www.ygoprodeck.com. Anyway, back to the past. Orcust is a deck known for two things, giving weird anime dweebs erections during strings class, and graveyard recursion. They don't build an exceptionally powerful board, but in a world where Zero Voros and Boral Sword are legal, they kind of don't have to. What I'm trying to say is that what they lack in explosivity they more than make up for with graveyard recursion, which is the defining characteristic of the previous format's power players. By looping Orcust Harp Horror, Orcust Symbol Skeleton, Orchestrated Nightmare, and World Wand, they were able to assemble a nigh uncounterable resource loop at nearly every step of the game. Largely carried on the back of the dummy thick Dingirsu and his non-destruction removal, this overpowered orchestra was the undisputed best deck of late 2019. And then, the ban list dropped. Threatening to martyr these maestros to the bottom of the charts, the ban of Harp Horror seemed to be the fine at the end of Orcust's popularity. Thankfully, it took all of 4 seconds for deck builders to realize by sending Wand with Orcust Nightmare you could basically make the exact same plays as previous builds of the deck, albeit a bit more fragile. Honestly, the biggest impediment to Orcust's continued success isn't the ban list, it's the rise of the consistent, explosive, and recursive SPYRAL propelled by the printing of Magician's Souls. Still, access to non-targeting, non-destruction removal, consistent Zero Voros setup, and negation traps might be enough for Orcust to tentatively remain tiered. So with that, let's get into the card by card. First, the Orcust suite were on 2 World Wand, 2 Symbol Skeleton, 3 Nightmare, and 1 Brass Bombard. After that is Gizmek and a scrap package of 3 Recycler, 1 Golem, and a Jet Synchron, followed by 5 Dangers and 2 Armageddon adjacent monsters. For spells we're on 3 Allure, 3 Instant Fusion, 3 Called, 3 Return, 1 Babel, 1 Rhoda, and 1 Foolish. For traps, we're on 3 Infips and a Crescendo. In the extra deck, we've got Winda and Restrict, followed by double Dingirsu, Zero Voros, Boral Sword, Long Girsu, Nightmare's Unicorn and Phoenix, 3 Gala-T, Wyvern, Mask, and Link Hurry for Bombard setups. So with that, let's jump into the games. Our first match is up against Plunder Patrol, and droll in the opener, a Kaiju package? Someone came to beat SPYRAL. Fortunately for us, we are not SPYRAL, but unfortunately, we're going first against what is ostensibly a going second deck. We're going to lead with a copy of Scrap Recycler, sending a copy of Nightmare to the graveyard. We'll Orchestrate a Return, and they will Droll and Lockbird. That's fine. We'll use Skeleton's effect in graveyard to bring back Nightmare, then Nightmare's effect after the Gala-T link to get World Wand. We'll bring back Skeleton and use Gala-T to shuffle back the World Wand to set a copy of Babel, which will then activate, before overlaying for a copy of Dingirsu, putting this Nightmare right under it, and link summoning a Masquerena, Foolish Burying a Gizmek in the process. For turn, our opponent will negate our entire setup, okay. Afterwards, they'll choop and draw into a Shipyard, what a rip! Afterwards, they'll normal summon a Helm and go into Brand, special summoning a Métis from deck. I don't intend to read this card, so I'll just use Dingirsu to destroy it. They'll pass back to us, and at end step, we'll activate Nightmare's effect, we'll activate the Grave effect of Gizmek, and they'll decide to concede. Because Orcust's turn 1 boards are so low investment, decks that aim to capitalize off the build or bust style strategies usually have trouble with Orcust's extremely recursive threat line. Unfortunately for us, our opponent for Game 2 is playing a competent Go second deck, Mech Knight. Let's see if we can set up through him. We're going to lead with a copy of Armageddon Knight, sending a copy of Nightmare to the graveyard. We'll activate the effect of Nightmare, fetching an Ash from our opponent, and a Called from us. Nice to draw it. After that, we're going to activate the graveyard effect of World Wand. We'll special summon this Nightmare back before link summoning a Gala-T, and activating Gala-T's effect in order to get a copy of Babel to our side of the field. We'll activate Babel and then fire off a Jackalope. Unfortunately, we hit it, which means we're going to have to Z-summon a Dingirsu, and using the Nessie that we summoned from our deck, make Masquerena, dumping a Gizmek in the process. Our opponent draws a Super Polymerization, which is particularly problematic. They'll go into blue, normal summon an A-lister for an Invocation, and link summon a Mad Invoker. They'll special summon a purple and tag out for a copy of Indigo, which they'll then special summon. We'll activate Instant Fusion, and I figure, yeah, it's Ding time. We're going to go ahead and fire Nightmare's effect in order to send a copy of Symbol Skeleton, and then bring back Ding. We'll activate Ding's effect, and dang it, there's the Super Poly. Okay, well, we can still eat something. We'll take that Mekk-Knight, and then our opponent will Invocation into a Caliga. Oh, this is a huge problem. We can only activate one monster effect per turn. Well, we better make it count. At end step, we'll activate Gizmek, and spoiler alert, that's the one we're going to fire. We'll destroy this copy of Caliga, then normal summon a copy of Jet Synchron. We'll use Jet Synchron's Grave effect to discard a World Wand to bring back this copy of Orcust Nightmare, and go into Galatea. We'll use Galatea's effect to shuffle back the Symbol Skeleton to get a copy of Return. We'll then send a copy of Symbol Skeleton to the graveyard with the effect of Nightmare before overlaying for Dingirsu after reborning a Galatea so we can go into Boral Sword. This is the end of the game. We'll use Boral Sword's effect to get in for 3. We'll get in for 2750 with Gizmek, and direct for lethal. Again, cannot overstate this orchestral excellence. Even after being super polymerizationed, we bounced back. So it's time for game 3, and you know what that means, a best of 3 versus meta. Our opponent is on, what else, SPYRAL, and we've drawn a Garnet. Let's see if we can take the set regardless. We're going to lead with a copy of Armageddon Knight, sending a copy of what else, Nightmare to graveyard, 3rd game in a row, I believe, before activating World Wand to bring her back. We'll link summon a copy of Galatea, then activate Galatea's effect to set a copy of Crescendo, because this time we've drawn Babel. We'll activate Instant Fusion to get Winda at a link point before overlaying for Dingirsu and protecting it at end step. Feeling pretty good against my opponent's special summon reliant deck, they're going to lead with a copy of SPYRAL Resort. We'll fire the graveyard effect of Nightmare, then the graveyard effect of Symbol Skeleton, so our Crescendo is online. Unfortunately, our opponent has a Called by the Grave. They'll activate Assault, then special summon the SPYRAL Super Agent from their hand. Okay, that's 1. Set 1 card, and attack into the window. Why are you doing that? I ask until I see them pay the maintenance cost on Resort. Well, I can't protect it forever, so it's going to the graveyard. We're going to normal summon a copy of Jet Synchron and go into Galatea. We'll activate the effect because it's funny to do so. We'll then activate the graveyard effect of Jet Synchron. Our opponent has a second Called by the Grave, but this time we have a Crescendo for them. We're going to go into Jet, go into Link Haribo, overlay for a copy of Dingirsu, adding so we can win next turn, and attacking directly for 26 and 3. And main phase 2, we're going to link summon a copy of Galatea, then use Symbol Skeleton's effect to bring back a second one, so we can go to 0 Voros, and if our opponent commits to the board, blow them out of the water. They're going to activate SPYRAL Resort and normal summon a copy of Tough. Okay, the time is now. We'll use Crescendo in graveyard to get a copy of Gizmek, then Gizmek's effect to special summon it at a link point, banishing everything. Unfortunately, they have a 1-for-1, and what do they draw off of this Mothman? Draw and discard, but a Magician's Souls! Oh god. They'll activate Magician's Souls effect, sending a rescue, and I realize that is full combo and I am dead. They're going to go into Double Helix, bring back Quick Fix. They'll activate both Quick Fix's effect and the effect of Dangerous Neck, and as I see the big red, I concede. So it's time for game 2, and like Squidward and Band Geeks, I have a theory. SPYRAL can crack boards in OTK going second, right? So what if we let it go first? I don't see anything wrong with this, and I assume that we'll win. Our opponent's going to lead with a copy of Jackalope, which we hit, American Sniper! Followed by a copy of Snake, which we miss. They'll draw a card and then fire off a big red, bringing back the Master Plan and activating its effect to get a rescue. They'll then link summon a copy of Barricadeborg Blocker. Oh boy, I hate this part of the combo. Activating the Grave effect of Master Plan as well. They'll bring back Master Plan with Rescue to get a rescue. Fun how that works. Before normal summoning a Quick Fix and firing off Resort. Resort is going to go into Sleeper. 1-for-1 is going to go into Magician's Souls. Magician's Souls is going to draw a bunch of cards before going into Appaloosa and Double Helix. Quick Fix will trigger. And they will go ahead and activate Rescue as well to bring back Drone and stack the 3 cards on top of my deck. Afterwards, they'll activate the effect of Double Helix to get a copy of Master Plan from deck before overlaying for Recitable Starling and adding a DD Crow to hand. Recitable Starling also increases the attack of 1 monster on your side of the field, but not enough to give Appaloosa an extra negate. They'll link summon a copy of Trigate Wizard and go into a Millenniumizer Strict. Oh my god, are they making the God board with double 1s? Ugh. They're going to Nightmare Phoenix, bringing back this copy of Double Helix and special summoning Sleeper, equipping it with Last Resort in passing. Okay, we've got our work cut out for us. We'll lead with a copy of Allure of Darkness, then we'll fire a Foolish Burial. We'll activate a second Allure of Darkness and an Instant Fusion for a 1000 Eyes Restrict. This fetches the Sleeper from our opponent. Okay, 1 down. We'll normal Jet Synchron to go into Link Rebo. We'll use World 1's effect, which fetches an Appaloosa, giving us a window of opportunity for Gizmek, and them a window of opportunity to Trigate it. Okay, afterwards we'll activate Jet Synchron's effect again. They'll Appaloosa, we'll activate Called by the Grave, and I think we've seen enough. So, we're back with the deck, and, I expected to lose to SPYRAL, but I didn't expect to lose that badly. Let's do the pros and cons. First, the pros. 1, it's still Orcust. The deck was the overwhelming best option last format for a reason. Dingirsu is still a fundamentally unfair card, and the deck excels at both relying on bread and butter combos and integrating new options. 2. It's become more resilient to hand traps. Scrap Wyvern means that even a well-timed Ash does very little against the Orcust onslaught. And 3. It doesn't lose to the multitude of spells, traps, and hand traps that Dinguses are currently jamming main deck to beat SPYRAL. The deck laughs off Droll, Evenly, and Sphere mode, and that's what I expect it'll have to contend with Game 1. And the cons. 1. It doesn't have a lights out card against SPYRAL. Hero has Plasma, Altergeist has Evenly Matched, but Orcust, woefully lacking equalizers, has to wield its linear game plan against a deck that massively outscales it. 2. Orcust excels when it's given a turn of setup. With all SPYRAL boards finishing with an Appaloosa for at least 2, it's unlikely to be able to even fire Dangers and Armageddonites, things it absolutely needs to resolve on board. And 3. The hand trap lineup people land on will matter. If DD Crow is bumped to 3 in decks like Altergeist and Subterror, suddenly Orcust will be taking friendly fire from its non-SPYRAL comrades. All in all, it's more fragile than before, but the real nail in Orcust's hard-shell case is the ascendancy of SPYRAL, not a bad ban list. After this format's conclusion, I'd expect these mechanical monstrosities to have a reunion tour. So that's that. Thanks to my patrons, Tyler Slacks, Sir Tachyon, Miko Reichman, Crispy, Distrin, Picnic Blasted, Lucas Geardas, Adam Trevino, Second, Fighting Fang Wong, Pro Yugi Dad, Meatmoto27, Burritoman93, Adrian Bra, Adam Sundquist, Isaac Jackson, Donnie Fillerup, Kobe Fisher, and others. If you like my videos, please consider subscribing, and if you want to be part of the process, consider following me on Twitch as well. See you next time!